Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Thank you so much. Just as Moses led the children of Israel out of bondage and across the Red Sea, a nondescript circuit preacher named Ned Rushing from Carthage, Mississippi, went from plantation to plantation, spreading the gospel message to the enslaved. After the emancipation, Ned founded the Pilgrim Rest Baptist Church. And years later, Elder Russell R. Jones accepted Christ at this church and began a ministry that brought him to Inkster, Michigan. It was there that he served as assistant to Bishop John S. Bailey of the Church of God in Christ. Out of Russell's 16 children, his daughter Juanita met and married John D. Hearn Sr., and to their union, 5 children were born: David, Cedric, Gary, John Jr., and Tina. John Sr. would later become the founding pastor of the People's Community Baptist Church of Inkster, Michigan, and led countless souls to Christ through its preaching, teaching, and international outreach ministries. Through the years, over a dozen preachers were birthed through Pastor Hearn's leadership. David and Gary acknowledged their ministry calls in their teen years and served diligently with their father for over 42 years in service to and for their Lord Savior, Jesus Christ. Reverend Dr. Gary K. Hearn now serves the Lord at First Baptist Church of Perryville, Kentucky. Reverend David S. Hearn served as senior pastor of Christian Faith Ministries for 8 years before graduating to his heavenly home in March of 2012. In March of 2013, Reverend John D. Hearn Jr. was installed as pastor of Christian Faith Ministries of Garden City. The call to Christian service that began over 153 years ago continues on today through Reverend John D. Hearn Jr., who worked tirelessly along his late brother from the very establishment of Christian Faith Ministries of Garden City. Reverend John D. Hearn Jr. preached his trial sermon in May of 2005 at People's Community Baptist Church of Westland, Michigan, titled The Way of Thomas, taking from the book of John, chapter 20, verses 24 through 26. John Jr. received his certificate of license to preach the gospel on August 20th of 2006. And in November 30th of 2010, he received his certificate of ordination by the authority of the Corinthian Missionary Baptist Church of Hamtramck, Michigan. Reverend Dr. Joseph R. Jordan, pastor. Today, Pastor Hearn serves as a chaplain for the City of Inkster Police Department, as well as our Wayne County Sheriff's Department. He serves as second vice president of the Western Wayne County NAACP, co-chair of the Western Wayne County Democratic Black Caucus. He's a member of the Council of Baptist Pastors of Detroit and vicinity, where he serves on the Political Action Committee, and he's also the president of the Inkster Ministerial Alliance and vicinity. He is married to June M. Hearn. They are proud parents of 4 children: John III, James Earl, Joy Michelle, and an adopted daughter from Port-au-Prince, Haiti, Roland St. Lot. I'd be remiss if I didn't point out that Reverend Hearn's daughter, Joy, is with us here in the audience today. Joy, if you wouldn't mind. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming our invocator for today, Reverend John D. Hearn, Jr.
Let us pray. O Lord, our Lord, how precious is thy name in all the earth. Lord, your glory and your majesty reign supreme above all others. Lord, we acknowledge you as the maker and the ruler of all mankind. For you and you alone are the author and the finisher of our faith. You know our end from our beginning, and beside you, there is no other. We humble ourselves before you today, asking for the necessary wisdom and knowledge to flow from heaven above, to rest upon every commissioner in this assembly as they make the decisions for the collective of all the citizens of the county of Wayne. As we acknowledge that the earth is yours and the fullness thereof, we count it a blessing that you allow us to occupy space and time and to be allowed to exercise governance over this portion of your vineyard. It's our prayer that you will divinely lead this body and direct their agenda towards righteousness and all that is pleasing in your sight. We ask that you open the windows of heaven and pour out the resources that will elevate the quality of life for every resident of this county. Let fairness, love, and compassion be the cornerstone of every motion passed by this body. Lord, we ask for your angels of love and mercy and protection for each commissioner and their families as well as their staffs. We ask these blessings in the name of Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. Let us all say amen.
Amen. Amen.
God bless you.
Thank you, Pastor, for that awesome prayer for this morning. Madam Clerk, next item.
Reading, correcting, and approval of the journal.
Vice Chair Pro Tem Baydun.
Move for approval.
Their support. Moved and supported. Any discussion on the journal? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Anyone wish to abstain? Okay,
Carries.
thank you so much. Next item.
Report from the chair.
Thank you. I'd like to recognize our Register of Deeds who is here today. Mr. Bernard Youngblood, please stand. Thank you for joining us today, sir. And I'd also like to recognize that on April 14th, it is another county holiday because that is the birthday of Commissioner Irma Clark Coleman. So, so happy early birthday, Commissioner Coleman. Oh, thank you. We have a full agenda today. So let me first remind our listening audience that all of the reports that are on our agenda today are thoroughly vetted and discussed at the committee process, and they come here to the full board meeting for final disposition. And today we are on Tuesday as opposed to Thursday because it is our equalization meeting, and by state law, it is to happen on today. Next item, Madam Clerk.
Here on page 2 of the agenda, unfinished business, there is none listed. We are moving to offering of all petitions, ordinances, resolutions, and presentations. There are 5 items listed on the agenda and 1 on the addenda. Item number 1 is a resolution by Commissioners Bell and Daub declaring the week of April 11th through the 17th as Black Maternal Health Week within the county to improve public and professional awareness of the issues related to maternal health and mortality.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Daub.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So we actually rewrote this resolution because the CDC released new data. So we had to go back, rewrite this resolution because we had new data showing that the nation's maternal death rate rose significantly yet again in 2021, with the rates among Black women more than twice as high as those of white women. The number of women who died of maternal causes in the United States rose to 1,205 in 2021. That's a sharp increase from years earlier, which was we had 658 in 2018, 754 in 2019, and 861 in 2020. That means the US maternal death rate for 2021, which is the year for most recent data available, was 32.9 deaths per 100,000 live births, compared with rates of 20.1 in 2019 and 23.8 in 2020. The new report also notes significant racial disparities in the nation's maternal death rate. In 2021, the rate for Black women was 69.9 deaths per 100,000 live births, which is 2.6 times the rate for white women. Which white women was 26.6 per 100,000. This is way too many women dying of maternal deaths. This is a problem in our country, and we need to do something about this. So this is why we put together this resolution. And, you know, I hope everyone reads through it and works with us to come up with solutions to solve this problem here in Wayne County, in our state, and in our country. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. And as many of you know, this is an issue that the Wayne County Commission, Women's Commission, has been working on for the last year or so. And we have discussed this as well with our Health and Human Services Director, Dr. Elisad. So we are all working together to do what we can to address this issue here in Wayne County. Been moved by Commissioner Dobb. There's
Oh,
support.
yes, I'd like to make a
sorry.
motion to move for approval.
Moved by Commissioner Dodd. There's support. Supported by Commissioner Colleen. Any discussion on resolution number 1? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Anyone wish to abstain?
Motion carries.
Anyone like to be co-sponsors on this resolution? If so, raise your hand.
Sponsors duly noted.
Thank you so much. Next item.
Item number 2 is a resolution by Commissioner Scott recognizing that child-to-parent violence and abuse is a matter of public concern and calling upon state and local public health officials and community partners to bring awareness and provide supportive services to families suffering from CPV.
Commissioner Scott?
I have the person who asked me to do this resolution that deals with this. And I know that I have heard so much and we see so much what is happening with the children and parents of today. So I would like, if you don't mind, Madam Chair, to have Mrs. Tabitha Brown to come to speak on this, please.
Thank you for joining us, Ms. Brown.
Commissioners, I thank you. Today, I use my voice to validate the feelings and concerns of parents living with child-to-parent violence and abuse. 696,620 were the number of juveniles arrested in the United States in 2019. Over 3,000 of those juveniles were violent or abusive towards a family member. When we talk about child-to-parent violence and abuse, we are not demonizing the child or criminalizing the child, but what we are saying is the abuse the parents are subjected to at the hands of their child is domestic violence. And if it were an intimate partner relationship, the validation, supports, and resources given to that victim is vastly different than the supports and resources provided to a parent living with CPVA. Parents are subjected to humiliation, intimidation, and physical violence, such as the caregiver in Walmart whose child was so disruptive, a video of her behavior went viral on TikTok. And sadly, parents are dying at the hands of their children, such as Sheila Von Wise Mack of Oak Park, Illinois, who was murdered by her daughter and stuffed in a suitcase on a family vacation, despite police visiting their home upwards of 80 times. Situations like these are not isolated events, they are happening daily. As I close, I would like to share a story with you. Tina, a retired executive, adopted her now 14-year-old son, Leon, at birth. Due to Leon's need to take items that are not his, all rooms in the home are locked except for Leon's bedroom door, the kitchen, and the bathroom. One day, Leon wanted to gain access to Tina's personal items. He was denied. Leon became very upset, yelling and screaming. Tina ignored those behaviors. Eventually, Leon settled and everything appeared to be routine. In the middle of the night, Tina was awakened by flashlights shining in her eyes. It was the police. Tina was arrested and held in Wayne County Jail for 3 days until Child Protective Services were able to determine Leon was not being truthful. CPS closed their investigation. However, Tina was given no information on the criminal portion of the case. She was instructed to collect Leon from relatives and to go on as usual. 6 months later, Mom notices Leon's behaviors are odd. And when she questions Leon, finally he reveals to Mom he put his medication in her drink. Mom does not have this medical condition, and there is no need for her to take this medication. When Mom asked Leon, "Why did you put your medicine in my juice?" he replied, "I don't know." When she told him, "You could have hurt me," he stated, "I know." When Mom researched rescinding adoption, she was informed she would be at risk of being charged with child abandonment charges punishable up to 3 years in a correctional facility. This is not a fairy tale. This is the story of one of your Wayne County residents. I ask you, where is this parent safeguard? Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us. This is a very important issue, and I think a lot of it stems to mental illness resources and availability to have wraparound services, as well as helping the parents involved in this. So thank you for bringing this to our attention. Thank you, Commissioner Scott. And is your mother Pastor Dee Dee Coleman?
Yes.
Because you look and sound just like her.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Commissioner Scott?
So move, Madam Chair.
It's been moved, supported by Commissioner Jesus. Any discussion on this resolution? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Motion carries.
Thank you. Anyone wish to co-sponsor, raise your hand.
Co-sponsors duly noted.
Thank you so much. Next item.
We are moving to item number 3, a resolution by Commissioners Baidoon and Haddis recognizing the decades of contributions from the Arab American community in Wayne County, the state of Michigan, and the United States, and proclaiming April 2023 as Arab American Heritage Month and acknowledging the Arab American community's efforts that make Wayne County vibrant and diverse.
Vice Chair Pro Tem Baidoon.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Since Arab Americans began immigrating to the United States late in the 1800s, they have been making valuable contributions to every aspect of American society, including medicine, law, business, education, civic engagement, and military service. Arab Americans migrated to the United States in search of a destination that would provide greater economic, political, and religious freedom, and have since shared their rich culture and traditions with their neighbors, colleagues, and friends, while setting examples as model citizens and public servants. Arab Americans brought to America strong family values, a vibrant work ethic, dedication to education, and diversity in faith that has strengthened our democracy and joined all Americans in their desire to produce a peaceful and diverse society. The contributions and heritage of Arab Americans have helped to build a stronger nation and enrich society by sharing the American spirit that makes the United States a free and prosperous nation. Madam Chair, allow me, there are many Arab Americans that are working for Wayne County government and in Wayne County. And in this room, we have the Director of Homeland Security, Sam Jaffer, Dr. Abdul Sayed, Commissioner El Haydous, my colleague, Eddie Fakuri, Sue Hammoud, Steve Shea, and of course our my dear friend there, Attorney Jim Allen that I see, and also Asad Turfi, the Deputy Executive for Wayne County. Thank you all for considering supporting the resolution, my colleagues, and I'm very proud to be an Arab American. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Moved by Commissioner Baydun, supported by Commissioner Haydus. Any discussion on this resolution? Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Anyone wish to abstain?
Motion carries.
Anyone wish to co-sponsor, please raise your hand.
Co-sponsors duly noted.
All right, thank you so much. Next item, please.
We're moving to item number 4, a presentation by the Wayne County Youth Council on resolution number 2023-001. And it's also receiving file of this item, imploring the state legislature, Governor Gretchen Whitmer, and the State Board of Education to increase funding for marginalized communities that have insufficient resources in order to address the disparities between school district funding for urban, low-income schools, which will result in increased graduation rates and standardized test scores and the number of students who pursue higher education.
Well, we're winding down the year with our wonderful youth council members. They have been so diligent, and it has been an exciting year for all of the experiences that they've had under the leadership of Commissioner Baker McCormick. So at this time, I will turn it over to Commissioner Baker McCormick and then over to our youth council.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair, and good morning to everyone. Today we have our Wayne County Commission Youth Council Annual Report, and I am just so proud of these 10th through 12th graders from all over Wayne County, and in particular, the election of De'Ara Searles in September as the chair. She was in our inaugural class, our very first class of Wayne County Commission Youth Council members. And I look at her now, she has grown dramatically over the last 3 years. She was shy and kind of introverted, and now a leader of her peers. And De'Ara has just done an excellent job. She is a senior at Cass Technical High School and is moving on this year to do bigger and better things. In addition, De'Ara has a dynamic executive board that is diverse and leaders in their own right, and they work very well together this year. In fact, today we would like to see the Wayne County Commission Youth Council members in the true example of why we formed the Youth Council, to create opportunity and realize success. That is our motto. But before we bring them up, I would like to acknowledge our chair, Chair Bell, for the support that you have given. When I came to her with the idea of the Youth Council, she jumped in and did whatever she had to do to make it happen, as well as our other commissioners, my colleagues. I thank you for your support of the Youth Council. Each commissioner can appoint up to 2 members to the Youth Council from their respective districts. This way we ensure that the youth all over Wayne County, that their voice is heard. In addition to our commission staff, they have been very instrumental in supporting the Youth Council, helping with monthly Zoom meetings, attending events, assisting as chaperones for our Advocacy Day in Lansing, and our own commission commission council attorney, Felicia Johnson, joined the Youth Council at our annual holiday luncheon at the DIA, where one of our surprise special guests, the former Michigan Supreme Court judge and former mayor of the city of Detroit, spoke to our students. So I want to thank the commission staff, team, Felicia, Pam, Jim, and this year, Terrence Adams has opened up an internship for one of our youth members. So I'm so glad of that as well. I want to also thank all of the volunteers because we have volunteer speakers each month. We had Linda Levy to do a voter registration training for youth, as well as Michigan State Extension programs. They provided various trainings, especially the one on interviewing skills. And as the Youth Council Administrator, I cannot do this and do not do the daily programming by myself. It takes my personal staff to help to keep things moving along. So my team, Dwayne Hines, if you can please stand if you're here, Michael Van Tool, and of course, Nairobia Mitchell, who helps with everything from the programming to meeting, to being a meeting host, to setting up the events and phone calls and emails. And Nairobia, you just do such an excellent job. So I just want to give you a hand clap. With that, I'd like to introduce the chair of the Wayne County Commission Youth Council for 2022-2023, De'Ara Searles. And she's going to come up, but also while they're coming up, you guys can come on up. If we have any parents in the audience of any of the students, can you please stand? Any parents here today? Yes, we do have a couple. So I want to commend the parents on helping us to keep our young people involved and bringing them to the various events and activities, because without you, it wouldn't happen. So you trust us with your young people, and I really appreciate that and all that you have done this year to keep us moving forward. And so now I will turn over the meeting to De'Ara Searles, the chair of the Wayne County Commission Youth Council, and her executive team to provide their annual report.
Thank you. To Commissioner Bell, Commissioner McCormick, and all other commissioners present, fellow Youth Council members, community members, and all others present, good morning. My name is De'Ara Searles, and I'm a graduating senior at Cass Technical High School, representing District 1, where my commissioner is Jonathan Kinlock. I have been privileged to serve as a member of the Wayne County Youth Council for the last 3 years and currently serve as chair of the council. I would like to thank the commission for allowing the Wayne County Youth Council the opportunity to participate in today's meeting. I would also like to thank Commissioner Baker McCormick for leading us along this journey these past 3 years. I also thank Nairobia Mitchell for her continual leadership and support. Before sharing brief information on the impact of the Youth Council, I would like to introduce the Youth Council executive team.
Hello, my name is Zion McCann. I am a junior at Cass Technical High School. I serve as the vice chair of the Wayne County Commission Youth Council. I am in District 8 under Commissioner Baker McCormick, but I was formerly under Commissioner David Kniezek.
Hi, my name is Rishi Kumar. I go to Northville High School as a junior in Northville, Michigan, and I'm the secretary for this group. My commissioner is Ms. Maraki of District 9.
Good morning to all commissioners and staff. My name is Robert Plowski. I'm a senior at Southgate Anderson High School in Southgate. I am the social media and communications chair for the Wayne County Commission Youth Council, and my commissioner is Joseph Palomera, representing District 15.
Being a member of the Youth Council has been a tremendously amazing experience. Since its inception, the council has endeavored to give the youth of Wayne County a voice and has advocated for various ways to resolve issues that are concerned to youth. We have been granted the opportunity to speak with many political figures, such as the former mayor of Detroit, Dennis Archer, and received insight from various professionals in their respective career fields. We also participate in social activities as well as service opportunities. During the last 3 years, I've grown in leadership and understanding of civic responsibility. Our reading assignment this year was a book called Richest Man in Babylon. This book provided insight on financial literacy and smart spending and gave tips I plan to use in everyday life. Our first in-person event this year was our Wayne State University special session on October 21st, where we were joined by advocates and informed of the work they do. We also had the pleasure of participating in Gun Reform Advocacy Day in Lansing, Michigan, and received a tour of the Michigan State Capitol on November 10th. While in Lansing, we presented resolutions we developed on gun violence and mental health last year to state senators and state representatives. My fellow council member will speak more about this experience shortly. During our private holiday movie viewing, we saw the movie Devotion, a story about 2 Navy pilots, and highlighted the sacrifice of veterans on December 11th. On December 17th, we had a meeting at the Detroit Institute of Arts where we were joined by Brian Turnbull, Mayor of Northville, and the Honorable Dennis Archer, former Mayor of Detroit and former Michigan Supreme Court Judge. On January 9th, we started to research, assign roles, and begin constructing the key points of our resolutions. This year, we chose to focus on economic oppression because of how pervasive it is as a problem affecting the youth of Wayne County. During our January 16th meeting, we drafted various portions of our research. On February 20th, we submitted our finished resolution for review, and on February 23rd, we presented the finished draft for vote. Our resolution was subsequently approved, and now we are before you to formally present it. We also participated in See Something, Say Something Week in our respective schools, March 13th through 17th, where each of us used our resources to spread awareness about gun safety and awareness. Thank you. Now I would like to introduce Rishi Cook, our secretary.
Thank you, Dura. Again, my name is Rishi, and I'm the secretary, and I'm going to be talking about our trip to the DIA as a group. So on Saturday, December 17th, as a collective group, we all visited the Detroit Institute of Arts as a way to kind of bond with one another, because we were in virtual meetings throughout and never got that in-person opportunity to see each other. So we started working off at the DIA at their workshop for crafts, and we were able to see our 2 guest speakers. Our first guest speaker was the Northville Mayor, Brian Turnbull, who spoke about his 5-generation history with Northville, how politics played a view into his life, his entire history of becoming the mayor. And he also gave us some nice advice on what we can do depending on our career paths in the future. And then our second guest speaker was the ex-mayor of Detroit, Dennis Archer, who spoke about his life journey from living in a small rural town called Cassopolis. It's near Kalamazoo, and his way of becoming the mayor of Detroit, along with multiple accolades throughout his journey. We then, as a group, bonded a bit more by going to the Van Gogh exhibit, and we were able to enjoy the art both individually and as a group. And as always, just similar to this meeting, we finished with the review of our previous meeting and discussed our current meeting tasks. And at this meeting is where we decided to vote on our topic for 2023, which is what we're going to present today, our role on economic oppression. And we also received some information on like voter registration, precinct delegate stuff, just for us to be more involved in our community. But I'll be handing it to our social media communications chair, Robert Pulowski, who takes care of all our social media business, to present on our Advocacy Day in Lansing.
Thank you, Rishi, and thank you to all of our members for the amazing work this year. Today, I'm giving you a report on our Lansing trip. As you all know, our 2021 and 22 members took a resolution to you guys last year in efforts to continue the continuing problem here in the state of Michigan to combat gun violence. This is our report from November 10th, 2022, what we accomplished and who we spoke to throughout the day. To start our day, we had our meeting at the Guardian Building. We had a brief meeting to really go over the draft and what we had plans, who we were meeting with, and what time is everything going to happen. So we started off going over that, drafted the plan, and then we boarded the bus after. We had another brief meeting and discussion regarding our upcoming events and what we have planned for our meetings ahead in the coming weeks. From there, from our drive and arrival near 15 minutes to 10, we had the opportunity and pleasure to attend the Veterans Appropriation Ceremony. It was a wonderful ceremony. We had some conversations with some veterans, Vietnam veterans to be exact, as well, and committee leaders of the Veterans Committee at the Capitol. We also had a group photo as well. And they gave us some wonderful words of encouragement as a youth council, what our career focus is for next. Right at 15 minutes after we arrived, we had our meetings with our House representatives, one of those starting off with our first 16th House District, Stephanie Young, representing parts of Detroit, Livonia, Redford Township. Don't have really a report on that exactly since I don't have the notes in front of me, but we do have notes from the rest of our meetings, starting off with former Representative Scott Van Sickle of the 100th House District on behalf of Lake, Oceana, and Newaygo counties. That's Northwest Michigan. We were divided into two groups with our chair leading the meeting with Representative Young, that's Kavya Keshamuthi, and leading our discussion with former Representative Van Sickle, that was Kavya Keshamuthi, and our representative for Stephanie Young was Dira Searles. My apologies. Like I said, we were divided into two groups, and one of the things that Van Sickle, his Republican stance on the gun reform resolution that was presented and we took up today, he included his real upbringing and how it influenced his thought, which mental health initiatives should be more focused on than gun control. The meeting segment took about approximately 2 hours for both meetings, putting us at noon. That's when we had lunch and we had a recap of our meetings going forth across the street from the Capitol. And during our brief recap, we had a special visit from Sylvia Santana, one of my personal favorites, representing the 2nd District of Michigan at the Senate House. From there, we had our lunch at the Capitol building, where we were able to get our tour from the 1st floor to the 3rd floor and also the Senate and House chambers. Everybody had a beautiful sight, trust me there. And shortly after that tour, we had our meeting with our senators. Stephanie Chang of District 3, representing Hamtramck, Detroit, Highland Park, Hazel Park, Warren, Troy, Clawson, and Royal Oak, and Madison Heights. Senator Chang briefly explained how she got her position, listened to our stories, my story, and our colleague Morgan Rouser, that's in the audience here today, on her experiences with gun violence and answered any questions, what could be done, and her pledge, what she plans to do going forward. Our second meeting was taken place by Dana Polensky of District 5, representing parts of Livonia, Canton Township, Garden City, Inkster, and Westland. She talked more about our stance on gun control and gun rights in the state of Michigan as our youth and how we can focus on improving the quality of life for youth and making it safer. But also the recent election and how gun right laws will further go into action due to a Democrat majority. We focused and divided in groups again with our Senate meetings. Former Youth Council member McKenna Charango is leading our discussion with Senator Polensky, and Vice Chair Zion McCain leaded our meeting with Stephanie Chang. Once we had our last round of meetings, we returned to the bus and did a final group photo at the Capitol. We did not recap any of our day in Lansing. Once we returned back to the Guardian Building, we did discuss the draft of our meeting at our November 17th meeting last year. Following our discussion and report from our chair, we did hold events throughout the year, which resulted in our Gun Advocacy Week, hosted all across the county. We did a remarkable amount of stuff in Southgate, Detroit, and many different districts hosted by our committee members. And we also had robust discussions about voter registration, and we reminded students that is crucial to the issues regarding gun violence and gun safety in America, and to making sure their voices are heard in this county and all across the state of Michigan. That is my report, and I'd like to pass it along to our dear Searles Vice Chair. Nope, I had it mixed around. Vice Chair Zion McCain and Chair Dear Searles. Thank you.
Thank you. Now me and my Vice Chair, Zion McCann, will present our 2023 Economic Oppression Resolutions. Sponsored by Council members Dear Searles, Zion McCann, Kelly Cox, Karis Robinson, Kavya Keshav-Murthy, Kiera Johnson, Joseph Osborne, Robert Pulowski, Janine Jackson, Thomas Bessick, Shakari Fleming Brown, Payson Kitchen, Rishi Kumar, Jada Lipscomb, Morgan Rouser, Sarah Salmon, and Manid Mahmood. Whereas economic oppression is a social act of placing severe economic restrictions on individuals, groups, or institutions. For example, a lack of public resources such as college opportunities, test preparation resources for students in low-income schools, lack of educators, and insufficient technology. And whereas economic oppression affects Wayne County youth and interferes with their education and future economic opportunities. And whereas in the United States, school districts that have more than 50% Black or Latino enrollment are nearly twice as likely to have a funding gap than school districts with the minority enrollment less than 50%. And whereas marginalized communities include those who have been historically excluded from involvement in our cities, as well as those continuing to face other barriers to civic participation. This includes those marginalized by factors like race, wealth, immigration status, and sexual orientation. And whereas employment discrimination is a significant factor that affects the opportunities that Black Americans have for economic growth, and in most cases caused by racism. And whereas low-income school districts, most often in urban areas, are more than twice as likely to have a funding gap as higher income districts. And whereas low-income students repeat grades at a rate of 28.8% compared to 14.1% of higher income families. And whereas Wayne County holds 5 of the top 10 poorest schools in Michigan, including the poorest, which include Hamtramck and Detroit. And whereas Hamtramck Public Schools is considered the poorest school district in Michigan by median household income, and whereas poverty rates in Detroit are high with approximately 68% of children receiving government assistance, and whereas graduation rates for Detroit schools are low at 78%, about 10% lower than the state average, and whereas students in low-income marginalized communities will greatly benefit from additional funding for internship programs, test preparation assistance, mentorship and scholarship programs, employment opportunities, and improved school technology.
And now therefore be it resolved that the Wayne County Commission Youth Council on this 11th day of April 2023 recognizes that the effect economic oppression has on marginalized groups in Wayne County specifically impacts youth and often stems from lack of educators, insufficient technology, and inadequate funding. And be it further resolved that the Wayne County Commission Youth Council requests that the Wayne County Commission advocate for increased funding for marginalized communities that have insufficient resources in order to address the disparities between school districts. Funding for those urban low-income schools will result in increasing graduation rates, standardized test scores, and the number of students who pursue higher education. And be it further resolved that the Wayne County Commission Youth Council implored the state legislature, Governor Gretchen Whitmer, and State Board of Education to allocate funding so that students in urban schools and marginalized areas are provided the same resources and opportunities as students in suburban schools. And be it further resolved that the Wayne County Commission Youth Council strongly urges the Wayne County Commission to implement internships for students in urban schools to ensure a level playing field between the students in low-income and marginalized communities and students who are not. And be it further resolved that the Wayne County Commission Youth Council requests that school districts and administrators add programs that allow students in urban areas to have the resources such as mentoring and scholarship programs that partner with organizations to allow students to work and earn credit towards graduation. These programs can help students close the economic gap while not adding on other societal pressures. And be it further resolved that the Wayne County Commission Youth Council requests the Michigan Board of Education and local school districts ensure that opportunities such as financial literacy classes and mentoring programs are made mandatory in order to allow students in urban schools to have the same resources as those in suburban schools. And be it further resolved that the copies of this resolution be forwarded to the Wayne County Commission, Governor Gretchen Whitmer, and all members of the Wayne County delegation and Michigan legislature and the Michigan State Board of Education in every school within Wayne County. That's it.
Let's give these young people a round of applause. this is something, you know, not
Alicia.
necessarily part of government from the county, but we still want
Yeah,
to make
we-
sure that
Oh,
we encourage them, that we support them, and that we know they are our future leaders. So I am so very proud of what they've done, and I think we have final remarks from our chairwoman.
I would like to again, I would like to again thank the council for having us today, and I would like to thank my youth council for working with me on the resolutions this year. And I would like you guys to come introduce yourselves with your name, school, community, and commissioner.
You all can speak from the podium right here.
My name is Morgan Rouser. I'm from District 8. My commissioner is Commissioner Baker McCormick, and I also go to Thurston High School in Redford, Michigan.
Hello, everyone. I'm Thomas Bessick. I go to Dearborn High School in Dearborn, and my commissioner is the great Sam Baydoun.
Hello, everyone. My name is Joseph Osborne. I go to UPrep Science and Math, and I'm a senior, and my commissioner is Jonathan Kinlock.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kiera Johnson. I attend Renaissance High School. My district is District 6, and my commissioner is Monique Baker McCormick.
Hello, everyone. I'm Peyton Kitchen. I am a sophomore at Canton High School, and my commissioner is Melissa Dowd from District 10.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Kelly Cox, and I attend Cass Technical High School as a sophomore. My commissioner is Melissa Daub, as I live in District 10.
Let's give them all another round of applause. Thank you, very good. And hopefully, at the end of the meeting, we can take a picture with them because they did an excellent, excellent job. And again, although we may not have county business with the young people, we are cultivating the next leaders for Wayne County, and we should be very proud of what we've established with this Wayne County Youth Commission. So thank you so much. And Nairobi, did you have something to say? Nairobi's been their day-to-day leaders. Nairobi?
Hello, everyone. I'm Nairobi Mitchell. I'm the legislative aide for Commissioner Baker McCormick. I've been working with the Youth Council for 2 years now, and I just wanted to ask if the seniors of the Wayne County Commission Youth Council can come up to the podium. I would like to say, as they walk up, I've enjoyed working with the youth and watching them grow for the past 2 years. They have grown into leaders with reliable skills and mindsets that have been instilled from participating in the Youth Council. I hope the youth take all the knowledge and experience the Youth Council gives into their future endeavors. It's with great honor that I give sashes to our seniors who will be graduating this year. We've enjoyed our time with you and hope you grow more and more as you advance in your life, in your careers, in your education, and in your future. So the first senior I would like to honor is Robert. And then the next senior I would like to honor is De'Ara, our chair. And I'd like to add, De'Ara has been a part of the Youth Council for 3 years now. So she's been here from sophomore all the way to senior, and now she's chair this year. So I'm very proud of that. And the last senior I would like to give a sash to is Joseph Osborne. So this is our senior class for the Wayne County Commission Youth Council. We appreciate you all. We're so proud of you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much. Thank you again. That was awesome. And again, it's great to give our young people their the notoriety now, and will be here in various capacities in Wayne County. Hopefully, some of them will come to Wayne County government after graduating, and they can say they started when they were a young person through the efforts of this body. So thank you. Baker McCormick, you have closing remarks?
Just a fabulous job, fabulous group of young people, and I am just so proud of them. And our future is very, very bright. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much. At this time, for item number 4, we'll take 2 motions for 4 and 5. 4 to receive and file, and then a motion to approve item number 5. Commissioner Baker McCormick, would you like to make both those motions?
Yes, I move both items 4 and 5.
Okay, receive and file 4 and to approve 5. Moved and supported. Our board is now up and operating. Please vote. Commissioner Kinlock. Thank you.
Motion carries.
Okay, discussion, Commissioner Marecki. Commissioner Marecki?
I'd like to abstain on 5, please.
Okay, thank you, duly noted. Okay, Commissioner Basham? Votes yes, okay, yes for Commissioner Basham. Okay, are we voting again? Oh. Are we doing them separately? Okay, this is a vote to approve item number 5.
And carries.
All right, thank you so much. And thank you again, Commissioner Baker McCormick, for your dedication and commitment to our young people. Thank you. Madam Clerk, next item.
We're moving to item number 6, which is on your agenda, a resolution by Commissioners Baidoon and Haddis calling on the Federal Office of Management and Budget to include Middle Eastern or North African as a race and ethnicity standard within census data collection methods used by the federal government.
Commissioner Baidoon.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Today I'm asking through this body, the Wayne County Commission, to call on the federal government to collect disaggregated data through a combined race and ethnicity question, which includes Middle Eastern and North African, abbreviated MENA communities. There's no federal collected demographic data on MENA communities and is segregated with the white population in the decennial census and other federal information collection forms. There are estimated 4 million MENA residents in the United States. The Office of Management and Budget is reviewing a potential change to Statistical Policy Directive, SPD number 15. MENA inclusion through SPD number 15 would require all federal government agencies to collect and produce MENA data, furthering the Biden administration goal of health by considering the needs and concerns of the MENA community alongside all other groups. Access in Dearborn is advocating for the Biden administration to revise SPD number 15 to include Middle Eastern or North African as a required racial and ethnic category in all federally conducted and supported data collection activities. Access is advocating for the federal government to establish a Middle Eastern or North African race and ethnicity category on the decennial census. Through this body, we urge the Office of Management and Budget to include MENA as a race and ethnicity standard within federal data collection methods. And I hope all my colleagues will support this resolution. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. It's moved by Commissioner Baidoon. Is there support? Support by Haydus. Discussion on the item. Discussion on the resolution. Commissioner Basham?
I think the intentions are what Commissioner Baidoon are well intended, but because I'm a little older, have a little more gray hair than a lot of folks. My question is, who are we leaving out? And every time we should treat everybody the same. We should treat everybody with dignity. We should treat everybody with respect. So we have different groups in this country that should be recognized. We have a strong Arab community in Dearborn. We have a strong Polish community in Wyandotte. We have a strong, and we go on and on and on. And my thing is, and also where does this passing resolutions by a county commission, where does it stop with the federal government? If we want to send them, talk to our Congress people or our US senators, I respect that. You can do that. But because I've been around for a few days, been in state house, state senate, local government, county government, what does these resolutions do, even though they're well intended? So that was, you want a discussion? I like being a skunk at the picnic. That's my comments.
You want to respond, Commissioner?
Yeah, Commissioner Basham, Access, which is one of the largest community organizations in Southeast Michigan.
Been to their dinners.
And they've been there for a long time. They provide services. They're advocating and providing a box on the census, if you will. So you have about 4 million people in this country. When you fill out the form, you have to choose a box, other or white. We are not white. I love you. You're my brother, but I don't look like you. Okay.
I have more hair.
I know you do. But this is this resolution will help Access because they're lobbying through the federal government with members of Congress and the White House to make these changes. And this supports Access. This resolution supports Access, which supports our communities. And there would be federal grants. There would be more money coming to these communities because they are minorities right now. They're recognized just like any other minorities. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Hearing none, please vote.
Motion carries.
Thank you so much. Next item, please.
We are returning to page 2 of the agenda, reports from committees. Report A is from the Committee on Economic Development. There are 6 items listed.
Commissioner Haydus?
File item 1 to 4 and recommend for approval item 5 and 6.
Support.
All right, our board is back open, so remember to use your board for motions and to second and to speak. Commissioner Kalina.
Chair, I have a question on item 6 there. Moving $1 million from Wayne Metro, why is that money available? Why does Wayne Metro, why are we making this move to redistribute CBDG money from Wayne Metro to Focus Hope? Why that change? $1 million.
Tuesday Redmond, Community Development Director. One of the reasons why we're moving the funds is because we are on a timeline with the federal government to expend these funds. And so we have to make changes to make sure, to ensure we meet the deadline. And so we have to spend 80% and with this $2 million change and allowing another project, which we have already had a contract with Focus Hope, who expended $500,000 for food services. And it was also a need for food services. And it continued also to be a need for TBRA, which is tenant-based rental assistance.
Yeah, I understand completely. And so for Wayne Metro then, that's a big hit to them. Is that going to be made up in the following year CBDG allocations, or
We
How is
are,
that
wor-
going to be handled?
we are working with Wayne Metro on some other home funds to use as it relates to tenant-based rental assistance. Will assist in some change of the funding, will help with more funding for tenant-based rental assistance.
Very much. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Further discussion? Hearing none, please vote.
Motion carries.
Thank you so much. Next item.
We're moving to Report B from the Committee on Public Services. There are 17 items listed on pages 3 through 8 of the agenda.
Commissioner Marecki?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to move to receive and file number 1 and approval for items 2 through 17, with Commissioner Anderson being the maker of the motion on number 7, Commissioner Baker McCormick on number 11, and Commissioner Clemente on number 9.
Their support, supported by Commissioner Jesus. Discussion on the Public Services Report. Any discussion on the items on the Public Services Report? Yes.
I'd like to be the maker of motion number 13, if you don't mind.
Commissioner Baidoon requesting to be maker of motion of item number 13.
Yep.
All right, please vote.
Motion carries. And I have Commissioner Anderson as the maker of the motion on 7, Commissioner Baker McCormick, number 11, Commissioner Clemente, number 9, Commissioner Baidoon, 13.
Thank you so much. Next item.
We are moving to Report C from the Committee on Ways and Means. There are 22 items listed on pages 9 through 13 of the agenda.
Can we also take H on the addenda?
Yes.
Okay. So the motion will be for 1 through
1 through 22.
1 through 22, and then number 1 on the addenda. Commissioner Kinlock.
Yes, Madam Chair, move approval of the report from Committee on Ways and Means, items 1 through 22 on the agenda, and item 8H1 on the addenda.
It's been moved to support, supported by Commissioner Baidoon. Commissioner Killeen, discussion.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Item 4, the tax delinquent revolving fund. I'd like to hear a little discussion from the treasurer. 195 million. Wasn't that long ago that in this room we were talking about how the proceeds from the delinquent tax revolving fund was going to be very, very low. And now foreclosures have gone back up again. So, if I may, sir. So what is the status of the tax delinquent revolving fund, and what direction do we seem to be headed in as far as the need for this with the foreclosures in the county?
All right, so the amount that you have before you in the resolution is really a not to exceed amount. The reason why we place it that high is to make sure that when the final numbers come in, that we have sufficient authorization to issue the notes. Based upon the numbers come in from the local taxing jurisdictions throughout the month of March. We won't have a final number until sometime in April. It is our prediction that the actual note borrowing will be in like $150 million. So that's just simply a not to exceed amount. The foreclosure numbers are down this year, probably by about 10%.
So what you're asking for today is approval. But this won't necessarily be the actual amount you go to the market with, right?
Oh, absolutely. It should not be anywhere near $195 million. But it's based upon the final delinquency numbers. And then we reduce that amount by the amount of tax collections in March and April on the 2022 taxes.
You're not going to New York for the 190 million.
Probably not.
Will you be reporting to the appropriate committee of the commission when you do submit and say this is what we actually have submitted for,
absolutely.
even
Yes.
if it's
Yes,
a
sir. Mhm.
up to amount?
Yes.
Okay, and foreclosures? Now you gave me a 10% number.
Yes.
Because I believe the last time I saw the list, it was going to be in the 14,000 range, something like that.
I don't have those.
That wasn't the complete list at the
No, but
time.
I don't have those exact numbers. I'm sorry.
Are we expecting the downward trend to continue next year?
I hope so. Yes, sir.
Do we have any evidence of that? Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
You're
Thank you,
welcome.
Madam Chair.
Further discussion on the Ways and Means report?
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Kinlock.
let the record reflect that Commissioner Kenizik will be the maker of the motion for item 13.
Thank you. Commissioner Kenizik, that's what you were going to say? Okay, thank you. Any further discussion on Ways and Means report? Hearing none, please vote.
Carries, and have Commissioner Kenizik as the maker of the motion on item 13.
Thank you. Next item.
We're moving to report D from the Committee on Health and Human Services. There are 3 items listed.
The Vice Chair, Commissioner Colleen, you're up. The chair is not at her seat, so if you could take Health and Human Services report, please.
Microphone.
Microphone, please, sir. Move it towards you.
You couldn't hear me?
There you go.
You
Thank
couldn't
you.
hear me?
Hear you.
I'll move all 3 items on Health and Human Services agenda.
Been
Report.
moved, supported by Commissioner Marecki. Commissioner Kenizik, discussion.
I'd like to abstain on items 1 and 3, please.
Duly noted. Further discussion on the Health and Human Services report? Hearing none, please vote.
Commissioner Kenizik as an abstention on items 1 and 3.
Thank you so much. Next item.
We're moving to page 14, report E, Committee on Audit. There's 1 item listed.
Commissioner Basham.
I'd like to move 1 item to receive and file. I'd like to make a motion.
Been moved by Commissioner Basham, supported by Commissioner Anderson, to receive and file the audit. This audit is for the Wayne County Commission. So let me thank Mr. Tim Johnson, Ms. Cynthia Douglas, and everyone that participated in getting the documents needed for the auditors for this audit. Hearing no further discussion, please vote. Sorry. I'm sorry, Commissioner Kenizik, your little thing doesn't say want to speak.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Like I said in committee, I'm still pissed that the county commissioners are overspending our budgets. We hold all these people accountable. We call them to the podium and we smack them around if they can't be within their budgets, while we ourselves are doing the exact same thing. I heard the audit chair talk about we're going to be looking into this and making sure that we hold ourselves accountable. I want to thank him for that commitment and simply reaffirm that we as commissioners, as we seek to hold other people accountable, I would expect, and I know we all agree, that we should also be holding ourselves to that same standard. So commissioners that are having trouble adding and staying within their budgets, work on it. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Oh, fans out there, Commissioner. Okay, thank you so much, sir. Any additional discussion on the audit report? Commissioner Basham?
There's a reason I'm a skunk at the picnic.
Thank you, Commissioner. All right, well, I'll put a pin on that and say we did a very good job on our commission audit. So that's the pin. We were good. We weren't great, but we were good. So please vote. All right, they voted. Next item, please.
We're moving to report F from the Committee on Public Safety, Judiciary, and Homeland Security. There are 5 items listed.
Commissioner Clark Coleman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I moved that we receive and file item 1 and 2, and that I move approval of items 3, 4, and 5.
Okay.
Support.
Moved by Commissioner Clark Coleman, supported by Commissioner Scott. Any discussion on the public safety report? Any discussion on the public safety report? Hearing none, please vote.
Carries.
Thank you so much. Next item, please.
We're moving to report G from the Committee on Government Operations. There are 15 items listed on pages 15 through 19 of the agenda.
Commissioner Dobb.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to move to receive and file items 1 and 2 and move for approval items 3 through 15.
Supported by Commissioner Colleen. On item number 3, Professor Dees is here, and you have your Chief Deputy here as well. If you could.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is Bernard J. Youngblood, Wayne County Register of Deeds, and I want to commend the commission for enjoining the youth and exposing them to the prosperity of government and what they can do in the future for us.
Yes.
They are the future. Thank you very much for that. And at this time, I am proud to introduce to the commission and to the others in the audience, my new Chief Deputy, Harry Kalogerakis, who has replaced Barbara Johnson. So I'm sure you'll be working together in the future and today, and I certainly hope that he is approved to be the new remonumentation representative. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Harry K, that's what I'm going to call you, just Harry K.
You're in good company with that, Madam Chair. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Commission, Madam Chair. Several of you know me already. I look forward to working with the whole commission, representing the Register of Deeds office. I have been with them for a little over a year right now, and look forward to this new role. I know Barbara Johnson, who I replace, worked closely with all of you. I hope to enjoy a similar good working relationship with each and every one of you. We are available all the time. Several of the commissioners have already reached out to me with specific questions. I am always available. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being here this morning. Okay, on the government operations report, any additional discussion or questions? Commissioner Basham?
I was a no on 8. I'll be a no. I'm in committee on 8, so I'll be a no on 8.
Duly noted. Any further discussion on the government operations report? Okay, we have a motion and support. Please vote.
Motion carries. Commissioner Basham is a no on item number 8.
Okay, congratulations, Harry. Thank you so much for being here, Mr. Register.
Thank you, Commissioners. I appreciate your support.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Next item, Madam Clerk.
Upcoming meetings.
Okay, everyone, please note the upcoming meetings. If there are any changes, please let the clerk note. Just want to reiterate, we received an email about the Women's Commission's appointments. I did extend that to the first meeting in May. So they'll continue through April, and on the first meeting in May, please have your appointments to the clerk so that we can vote on those. Next item.
We're moving to new business. There are 2 items listed on the addenda.
On the addenda, okay.
Item number 1 is requesting commission approval of the appointment of Dr. Abdul El Sayed, Director, Department of Health, Human and Veteran Services, to the position of Local Health Officer.
Okay, is there a motion for item number 1?
So moved.
It's been moved and supported, moved by Commissioner Baydun, supported by Commissioner Haydos. Any discussion on item number 1? Hearing none, please vote.
Carries. Motion carries.
Thank you so much. Next item.
Item number 2 is requesting approval of a memorandum of understanding between the Wayne County Clerk Kathy M. Garrett and the Wayne County Commission.
Thank you. Is there a motion? Moved and supported. Any discussion on this item? Hearing none, please vote.
Motion carries.
Okay, next item, please.
We're returning to the agenda, page 20, testimonial resolutions and certificates of appreciation.
There a motion for the testimony resolutions and certificates of appreciation, numbers 1 through 24. Moved by Commissioner Kinlock, supported by Commissioner Marecki. Any discussion on any of these items? Any discussion on the resolutions?
1 through 25.
1 through 25, I'm sorry. I think Commissioner Kinlock saw that. Okay. Hearing no discussion on the testimony resolutions, please vote.
Motion carries.
Thank you so much. Next item, please.
We're moving to memoriams. There are 7 names listed.
Okay. Anyone wish to speak on any of the memoriams listed? Okay, we will continue to pray and have our hearts go out to all of those affected by senseless gun violence, as what happened in Kentucky a couple of days ago. So let's just keep everyone who's lost a loved one in our prayers. If everyone could please stand for a moment of silence. Thank you so much. Next item.
Public comments.
Hey, is there anyone on Zoom who wish to address the Wayne County Commission? You have 2 minutes. Anyone on Zoom wish to address the Wayne County Commission? You have 2 minutes. Anyone on the telephone? Any emails? Okay. 2, 1, okay.
Commissioners, the World Health Organization is adopting amendments to the international health regulations that are intended to cede control of national, state, and local pandemic measures to itself. For example, it changes the IHR regulations from non-binding to mandatory instructions that member states undertake to follow and implement. It also sets up surveillance processes in all states and enables the WHO to share country data without consent. Will you stand up to this illegal power grab by the WHO? Will you refuse to enforce it? The Biden administration wants to proclaim that they will supersede local and state laws, but the reality is these amendments violate our Constitution. For example, the aforementioned surveillance processes violate the Fourth Amendment. As such, the regulations themselves are unconstitutional and cannot be enforced. For that matter, any intentional regulation, treaty, or accord that violates any provision of our Constitution is unconstitutional. That comment was from Anthony Plessia.
Anyone in the chambers who wish to address the Wayne County Commission at this time?
Morning, everyone. Samuel Draper, citizen Samuel Draper here. To Commissioner Bash and the ones who had that question, that was an excellent resolution, Mr. Baydoun. When we talk about identifying races on employment papers and so forth, one of the most important things that's being missed as an American of Arab descent, there are illnesses that may be experienced by Arab Americans, but due to the fact we're identified as white, they're overlooked. Mediterranean fever is a very common one. Say in Wayne County, there's 1,000 cases. When you put it under the white race, now it's almost not visible. So it's very important to identify the different races as they experience different illnesses and so forth. So I think that resolution was very important and it was long overdue. I have a family member that has Mediterranean fever. When you put them under the white race, it doesn't even show up on the radar. So that's the most important thing. Thank you, Commissioner Baydoun. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Anyone else under public comments? Thank you.
Greetings. I am Chief Kamala Smiling Thunder from the League of Indian Nations of North American National Indian Government. Thank you, and I come in peace. On and for the record, I would like to share something with each of the commissioners that I've provided something to. Firstly, it has been just over 7 years to the day, I, along with several community activist organizations, appeared before the County of Wayne Commissioners on March 17th, 2016, stating, "No one currently occupies the office of the Wayne County Treasurer." During that meeting, a request by We the People called for a moratorium on all foreclosures until residents have elected a treasurer. Former Treasurer Raymond J. Wojtovich abandoned the constitutional office effective December 1st, 2015. Henceforth, no legitimate vacancy was ever created. As retirement is not a method of vacating the office, Michigan Election Law 168.206. The News Herald reported on November 30th, 2015, Wojtovich, 86, still has a year left on his term. Whether the term was to end on 12/31/16 or 6/30/17 remains questionable. Wayne County Commissioners, including Chairman Waranchek, honored his service at a board meeting. Peace be unto him. Secondly, because the treasurer's office was never officially vacated, the convening of a panel consisting of the county clerk, prosecutor, and ranking probate judge to the appoint of a secretary was both unlawful and fraudulent for both Richard B. Hathaway and Eric R. Sabri, rendering all deed signatures and transactions signed by them, acting upon the authority of the County of Wayne, Michigan, Office of the Wayne County Treasurer from December 1st, 2015 through today and each day forward until rectified, void. Hypothetically, even if the treasurer's office had been lawfully vacated, the subsequent successor appointments with the term ending June 30th, 2017, identical to Raymond J. Wojtovich's, would have had to have been validated, properly sworn by properly sworn oaths and filed oaths and bonds. Michigan Election Law 168.204. Richard Hathaway presumably filed an oath of office with the intent of being successor to Mr. Wojtovich. However, he resigned shortly thereafter, and resignation is not an option for a successor. He must hold office for the remainder of the unexpired term. Michigan Election Law 168.2093. Additionally, Eric Sabri could not be both successor and also candidate in a general election, November election, for the same reason, as well as Michigan Election Law definitions 168.2J. I bring this hypothetical because 168.209 begins very specifically as follows: if a vacancy occurs, which, as we know, did not happen. Thirdly, special attention must be paid to the 3 oaths of office sworn to by Eric Sabri. Initially, a FOIA request was done in the clerk's office on April 11th, 2016, which indicated there was no oath on that date. However, 7 months later, on the date of the general election, November 8th, 2016, which is printed upside down on the oath of office, a copy was backdated and filed by Wayne County Clerk on Saturday, April 9th, 2016, with the term ending June 30th, 2017. Perhaps the reason for no specific date in April on the Wayne County Treasurer's website. The next oath was of office sworn to by Eric Sabri was on June 30th, 2017. No filed stamp appears on it. 7 months after the November 8th, 2016.
Hello? I'm sorry.
Oh,
the
yes.
time is up. Is that information in the packet that you gave us?
It is, but I would like to just finish, can I just finish the, this
One
two
more?
sentences?
Okay, go
sentences. Okay, the final oath of office sworn to by Mr. Sabri was before his daughter Aaliyah Sabri on Sunday, June 27th, 2021. Curiously, why not wait until the previous oath expired 3 days later on Wednesday, June 30th, 2021 instead? Business day or secular day means a day that is not a Saturday, Sunday, or legal holiday. Chapter 1, Michigan Election Law Definitions, 168.2D.
Thank you so much.
Greetings, Wayne County family. My name is Chief Firebird from the League of Indian Nations of North America. I'd like to give my 2 minutes to Chief Smiling Thunder.
All right, I'll just continue. Lastly, the recent 2020 Michigan Supreme Court decision, Raffaelli versus Oakland County, coupled with the 2022 U.S. Court of Appeals Sixth Circuit decision.
Yeah, I don't think we don't have a rule where you give your minutes to someone else. You have to, whoever wants to speak has to speak.
All right, the next.
Name and title, or name and record. Name for the record, please.
Verizon Son, Diane Hoy is my name. I'm here today to just ask you to just think about what's going on with the people, many people. But lastly, the recent 2020 Michigan Supreme Court decision, Raphael versus Oklahoma. And 2022 United States Court of Appeals Sixth Circuit decision, Hall versus Misers, has certainly clarified the issue of home equity theft and the property tax liability. Matthew Hodges, Michigan Assistant Attorney General of the Treasury, he serves with 8 Michigan counties. A decision by this court finding this is a takings will have a direct and immediate impact on every one of those 83 county treasurers. If the court finds there is a takings, that means that there's a tie from the former owner to the particular property. That means every interest holder is still alive, and then we'll have a mess. We have a mess. The mess is there was a house that was sold for $8.41. Treasury took the house and sold it for approximately $22,000. They stole the remaining balance. The Michigan Supreme Court ruled that you cannot take a person's house. I come off the reading and tell you, I had some land. I'm a farmer. It was in Belleville. I paid $150,000 for it. I owed $2,000. I went down to pay it. They told me that I couldn't pay it. I had another year. I went back in January to pay it. They confiscated my home and my land, and they sold for $2,000. That was a theft. And if you steal something, guess what? If you steal a car, you got 10 years. You steal my land, you give me nothing. I only owed approximately $2,000. They sold it for $22,000. They left me with nothing. The Supreme Court decision came in and said, no, you can't do this. You can't take a person's land. We got these new young people coming here. They work all their life for their land. Then you come in and say you owe $2 and we're gonna steal your land. I ask, in closing, I beg of you to just think about it. My land was confiscated from me, okay? Theft is the real, it's not a takings, cause it's theft. You stole my land. I have nothing now. It's worth $200,000 right now, but you took it for less than $2,000. I beg of you to teach our young people that there's justice here. And I thank you for your time. And I didn't mean to become personal, but I'm being robbed and no one says anything about it. Eric Supreme said, oh, well, we don't know what to do. Come back to me later. So I thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And I thank you for everything, for listening to us.
Thank you so much.
I hope that you give us a resolution.
Thank you.
Okay, because I couldn't see my time, can I have 2 minutes?
Sure.
Okay, thank you. My name is Chief Firebird from the League of Indian Nations. I like to read, because the Indians of our lands are long deceded to the city of Detroit, the county of Wayne, and even the state of Michigan, I, Chief Firebird of the League of Indian Nations of North America, National Indian Government, along with several other community organizations, are demanding your diligence in rectifying this situation as expeditiously as possible. If this must go to the Senate or the House of Representatives, please do so immediately while keeping me informed. There has been no lawfully elected county treasurer for almost a decade. Laws, agreements, covenants, treaties, and tax exempt statuses have been ignored. Please prioritize the reimbursement, replacement, restoration, and or return the lands of property that has been taken without consent or tax obligation. References Articles 1 and 4 of the U.S. Constitution, 1787, Northwest Ordinance, Article 3, and the UNDRIP Articles 26 and 27.
Thank you. Everyone, please make sure you fill out a card and give it to our clerk before you leave. Thank you. Next item, Madam Clerk?
Considerations.
There are none. Next item?
Remarks by members.
Any remarks by members? So I'll have one remark. On April 27th.
Wasn't a remark. I guess I didn't get my hand up fast enough.
Go ahead.
And this requested, is it possible that we can go back to economic development, item number 5? I'd like to be the maker of the motion.
For number 5?
Yes.
That's fine.
Which is my district.
Can you note that, Commissioner Clerk? We're gonna have to go back and do a formal reconsideration. Madam Clerk, is that fine? Can we note that? We haven't adjourned the meeting yet. We'll duly note that you're making the motion for number 5, if that's okay for the chair of the committee.
Thank you so much.
Commissioner Anderson.
Just a question of procedure.
Yes.
Do we not have to go back technically? I mean, maybe our legal counsel will tell.
Well, I would say if we would suspend the rules, ask that make the chair of the committee who made the motion adopt that friendly amendment to make her the maker of the motion without going back. We haven't adjourned the meeting yet, so the clerk can just go back and make her the maker of the motion. Is that adequate, Madam Counsel?
Through the chair, technically you don't vote on maker of the motion. We had a motion, we had a second, and then makers are noted. So we don't actually take a vote on the maker itself. So I don't think there's anything necessarily to reconsider at this point, other than noting it now. In the future, perhaps we'll try to make sure they're noted at the same time so everyone's on the same page. But technically, that was not a motion.
Thank you. So we'll just put it as maker of the motion for that, for number 5. We don't need to vote on it. Yep. Yep, it's fine. So you're fine, Madam Clerk, Madam Scott. All right. On April 27th, there is a Women's Resource Fair that the Wayne County Women's Commission is sponsoring. They've been working very hard on this. What we'll make sure is that every commissioner has the flyer to share in your newsletter, your text messages, your Facebook, however you communicate with your constituents. This is open up, of course, to every woman in Wayne County. So we ask that you please advertise and promote this, because your member of the Wayne County Women's Commission has been working very hard to make this happen on April 27th. So please expect that flyer to come to you this week, as well as volunteer opportunities for people in your community as well. So please note those 2 items may come to your inbox. Remarks by members, any other remarks by members? So at this time, we do have to recess, Madam Clerk. We are recessing until our next meeting on April 20th. And we are recessing because the equalization report, we're in that meeting right now. So that meeting will continue on the 20th to get the report from our equalizer. He's not the equalizer. From Scott from Equalization Department Assessor. So at this point, we are recessed until Thursday, April